Well, hello, welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and we're in this very special live stream out of nowhere because it finally happened. I don't know how. I just woke up this morning and I was saying, what is happening? What is happening? Just in case so many of you are still worried about me, I am not in Venezuela right now. I remind you that I'm in Europe, so I'm fine. I do have a lot of friends and family in Caracas, which is, of course, concerning. But as far as I've known, every single one of them is all right. Maybe not so much for those who were in the military facilities of Caracas, which they are pretty much toast at this point. I don't know what to say about that. I'm gonna say, just gonna make sure to be clear about this. I'm gonna say we're gonna watch that Trump announcement. By the way, we're gonna watch it together. As soon as the White House is live, we're gonna switch there. But I might say a lot of things in this live stream that might upset some of you. Not maybe my lovely body language buddies, but I know that there's many people and are gonna come to this live stream to, I already seen it, propaganda and stuff. I'm gonna tell you one thing, just one word of warning. If you come to my live stream to pretend to teach me about Venezuela or Venezuelan affairs, or say that I'm some kind of paid shield, I usually play like a cat plays with a role of estambre. I don't know how to say that. I usually play like a cat with those kind of trolls. I am not going to play today. I'm gonna ban you from every single platform. Yes, I am Venezuelan, just in case if that was not clear yet. I need to make sure. It's like, let me see if I can X Pro. How do you change my X Pro? Okay, see that Maria Corina Machado is saying something as well. I have, of course, all this updates, last minute updates. Trump was on Fox News. Like, let's play that one. Let's play that one. He was on the phone. Let's play for you. Okay, wait a second. Let me change. I have to do this manually. Where am I? Yeah, McDonald's. Brave browser. Sorry.
It was slightly busy, I would say. It was very dark all over, especially in Venezuela. The team did an incredible job. They rehearsed and practiced like nobody's ever seen. And I was told by real military people that there's no other country on earth that could do such a maneuver. If you would have seen what happened, I mean, I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And if you would have seen the speed, the violence, they say that, the speed, the violence, they use that term. It's it was an amazing thing, an amazing job that these people did. There's nobody else could have done.
Yeah, amazing job. This was amazing job. Just amazing job. I don't know what to say. I'm going to try to keep an eye on your comments as well, of course. I want to tell you, this was amazing. We are waiting for that White House live stream. I'm gonna run you through my timeline this morning because my timeline was quite crazy this morning. Let me see. I woke up. Remember, I'm in Europe, so I am a bit lagging behind. I was just asleep. Where am I? Okay, right here. This is the timeline. I woke up, and I woke up to this. Yes. For example, Nino Lama, you laugh at narco tyranny. You are banned. You're fucking banned from my channel. Goodbye. You're fucking banned. I don't want you here or your stupidity. So goodbye. You will be banned. You will be blocked. Goodbye. So that's a warning. I'm gonna highlight the fuck of you. I don't care. I don't care. All right. So I woke up this morning and I got the news. Trump is bombing Caracas, and I said, no, this might be fake news. I saw the Truth Social account, the Truth Social screenshot. Many people have problems with this. They have some, let's say, wait a second. Delete column. Okay. Some people have some problems with Trump's Truth Social. They mistake Trump's Truth Social by his X. And then when they go for his posts on X, they're not there. They have to go to Truth Social. And you go to Truth Social and yeah, the commander-in-chief, the Catire, is right there posting that. But this was Caroline Leavitt. Caroline Leavitt posting this. And I said, all right, so this is legit. This is actually happening. The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolás Maduro. That is I have problems with that. Of course, Maduro is not the president of Venezuela. Edmundo González Urrutia is the president of Venezuela. We elected him on July 2024. Maduro just didn't want to go. He could have gone. It was Marco Rubio who updated like 1 hour ago in which, said Maduro and his wife were first taken to the USS Iwo Jima. They're on a ship and they will be heading to New York. They went to helicopter on a nice flight. I'm sure they loved it. Trump is the troll-in-chief. Trump is the troll-in-chief. So, Maduro is not the president. I guess that Trump, to, let's say, address the normies who do not understand what is going on. If you want to understand what is going on, go to the pinned post on my Twitter account. You look for me, Jesus Enrique Rosas, Body Language Guy on Twitter. You will find me. The pinned post explains everything you need to know. So, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, we salute you and we thank you, Mr. President. It was all worth it in the end. And no, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Yeah, this best way to wake up ever. It's a good thing that I had this gift on my arsenal ready for this moment. That Parks and Recreation gift. And how to say that in my arsenal to say this is the way I woke up. What? All right, and this is the post that I'm telling you. I am Venezuela. 90% of us want a full throttle agro crank on the pressure gauge. Make sure to check my complete post on Twitter. And this was the first meme. We have the finest memes. As Trump would say, we have the best memes. We have only the finest memes. This is simply the best. I mean, Rubio finding out he's the new Venezuelan president. I laughed out loud to this. This was pure. We are witnessing. There's Edmundo González Urrutia, by the way, reposting Maria Corina Machado. Venezuelans, these are critical hours. Know that we are ready for the great operation of the reconstruction of our nation. My God, this is simply Marco Rubio, president of Venezuela. You can't just do things because Pete Hegseth posted this as well. So that's when people really found out this was really happening. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, went and posted that. Zero hour one, sorry. Venezuela will have a fair election by its people. United States is not a nation building. We already had the fair election 0 hour one. 0 hour one is one of my favorite accounts on X. I'm going to say it, but we already had a fair election. We already have a president. Just we needed to, let's say, remove Maduro from the equation. And he also said, 0 hour one, Venezuela couldn't even take on an Apache helicopter. And I have told you this, I have told this everyone, hundreds, thousands of times. There will be no war with Venezuela, and the best part was the Apache and the Chinooks helicopters just fly in the skies of Caracas, and nothing was happening to them. I told you so. Venezuela has no military, absolutely no military ways of force to retaliate anything. War with Venezuela is laughable. It's only laughable. I understand the concern. We don't want any more wars. There will be no wars. I explained that on my post as well. There will be no wars. The memes made themselves. I mean, this is, we are living the timest of times for memes. Timest of times for memes. This is the sentiment that I want. Dios bendiga Venezuela. God bless Venezuela. We need more of this. We need more of this. Viva Venezuela Libre. That's what we need. Yeah, free, don't be silly. Banned, you're banned. You're banned. Goodbye. And I say in that post, that same post, oh, you know that the United States is after Venezuela's oil? Take half of it. I don't care. Just get Maduro out of the equation. And the catire is our Venezuelan word for blondie. That is a term of endearment for people who are blonde. Catire, if it's a male. Catira is a female. Now you know a bit more Venezuelan. Then the catire promised and the catire delivered. It's that simple. You can just do things. I understand. This is the beginning. There's much more complex than this. There are several factions that have to be addressed. Diosdado Cabello must be addressed. Vladimir Padrino Lopez has to be addressed. Jorge Rodriguez and Delcy Rodriguez have to be addressed as well. But we have the head. Es la hora de Venezuela, es la hora de la libertad. Cayó el tirano, in an image of María Corina Machado, which again, I have criticized some things about María Corina. I supported her in 2019. I criticized her heavily in 2024, not gonna lie. I had my doubts in 2025, but when she brought the goods, when she delivered, I was there to say, hey, she was the one to prove that the elections of 2024 were stolen. So that was important. Teabagging. Please do not look for teabagging. If you don't know what teabagging is, do not look, I repeat, do not look for that on the Urban Dictionary. Do not look for that. It is maybe, but this is a, let's say, a description of the movement when we are playing video games. When you play video games and you want to humiliate a fallen opponent, you teabag him, basically doing what you see on the screen. You just crouch over his corpse over and over again. So Trump was teabagging not only Maduro, but the Venezuelan, not the Venezuelan, the Chavista and the Madurista. I want to look for the White House. Make sure that I'm here. All right, we will begin shortly. I'm going to put this on here, just in case. Make sure I have. Okay, we are live. When we're about to begin, when we are about to begin, I will switch to the White House. But yes, teabagging. We needed that teabagging. We need more teabagging. We don't have enough teabagging, and we are still in January 3rd, which is interesting because Noriega in Panama was also, let's say, taken for a trip in January 3rd in 1990. That is interesting. It's like, I think that Trump loves irony, I guess. And one expression, a very Venezuelan expression on my part, Marico, esto está pasando de verdad. Marico, esto está pasando de verdad. That is the most Venezuelan thing that you can say. We say marico for everything. Marico is basically gay. Okay? Marico is, we say gay. We call ourselves gay. Okay? That's our way of addressing each other. If you are a man, a Venezuelan man talking to another man, you say marico tal cosa, marico this, marico that. That's the way that we talk. If you're a woman, if you're a Venezuelan woman, a female, you say marica. Marica esto, marica lo. That's the way that we talk. So I had to say this. Marico, esto está pasando de verdad. Huevón. Jodas. ¿Qué bolas? ¿Qué bolas está pasando, huevón? Tengo que decirlo. O sea, me tiene que salir venezolano por al menos 30 segundos en esta vaina. Está pasando. ¿Sabes cuánto tiempo llevamos esperando esta verga? ¿Sabes cuánto tiempo llevamos esperando esta verga? O sea, yo no sé, yo desde el 2012 estoy dándole palo a la plasta mierda de Chávez. Que no joda, ya voy a la vaina la mierda esta del... ¿Cómo se llama? La vaina de la montaña. Ni me acuerdo. Ya no me acuerdo y no me voy a tener que acordar porque ya volaron en pedazos esa verga. 10 segundos más de venezolano. Y sí, no joda. O sea, es una vaina así que marico. O sea, es increíble uno decir, esta vaina está pasando. Esta vaina está pasando. There's no other way to address that. We need to... my song Lee, my friend... Feliz Año Nuevo, no joda, Dios mío, Dios, no me has defraudado. You have not let me down. God, Happy New Year. We are here. We are here. Emmanuel Rincon, Rubio watching as the regimes in Venezuela and Iran wobble with Cuba next on the list. We are here for this. We are here for this. We are 100% here for this. We're 100% here for this. And yeah, Petro from Colombia, you have to... Petro from Colombia. Gustavo Petro, you should be looking for the lube, man. You should be looking for the lube because when the catire goes for you, he will not bring any lube. And he will not tell you in advance. So, I don't know what to tell you, but you are going to be... the same way they did to Maduro, and the same way they need to do to all the henchmen, because I have explained to you many times that the Venezuelan narco-tyranny is not only Maduro. Maduro is part of one Chavista and Madurist faction. We also have the faction of Diosdado Cabello, who is also Chavista, Madurista, or Chavista. We also have the faction of the Rodriguez brothers. We also have the faction of the military. Yeah, this is complicated, but again, this is the best beginning that we can have. Best beginning that we can have. Mr. Mayhem, me da risa que en el cuartel de la montaña no hay un coño y alguien dijo, pégale un misil a esta mierda ya que estamos. Venezuelan at its best. I'm laughing. I find it funny that in the, the mountain, where they have the body of Hugo Chavez, there's nothing in there. And somebody said, put a missile and that's shit. We're already here, so go for it. So well done, boys. Well done, boys. And this is my favorite pause of this morning. This is my favorite pause of this morning, and I'm not going to apologize for this. We're about to begin in the White House live stream, but here is the thing of it all. One should not talk ill of the dead. Also fucking Chavez tomb has been glassed. Rest in peace, you filthy motherfucker. Yeah, I have no other ways for that piece of shit. I spit on his grave, and I'm glad that was just blown to smithereens, glass, and I hope that they went, a couple more passes to make sure, because there's so much witchery in there, because you need to know there was a lot of witchery. Witchery is the name, brujería. Brujería en esa vaina que tenía que ser destruida. It had to be destroyed. It has to be destroyed. Like reduced to ashes, scorched earth, put a coffin of glass, complete glass the thing. There's another post that I had here. I have to remember that back in November 29, I said, coño Katire, dale con todo, no joda, aquí estamos listos. Is my Japanese whiskey ready? That was back in November 29. That feels like ages ago. And no joda, el Katire no defraudó. The Katire did not let us down. This is a simultaneous podcast in Venezuelan and English. I don't care. This had to be done. Por mí que le den un par de pasadas más para borrar toda la brujería acumulada en esta mierda. Is it for me just bomb the thing on the mountain, Chavez's tomb, at least twice or three times more? We'll make sure that it is completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. And this is a question that I almost skipped. Where are you? ¿Dónde están, coños de madre, venezolano y camalasolano, mamagüevos? ¿Dónde están? ¿Dónde están? Tan calladitos, ¿verdad? Hijos de puta, coños de tu madre. ¿Cómo se les ocurre a ustedes irse de Venezuela y votar por Biden? Mamagüevos de mierda. O sea, ustedes son la vaina más podrida que puede haber en esta mierda. Venezolanos, camarazolanos, el coño es su madre. Sabe a mierda. Ay, qué lenguaje, Jesús. Qué lenguaje, Jesús. ¿Por qué hablas así? Porque sí, porque se lo merecen. Porque son unas mierdas. Escapan del socialismo y vuelven a votar por los socialistas. Vuelven a votar por los comunistas. El coño de tu madre. Me cago en ti y en todos tus muertos. En todos ustedes, venezolanos y camarazolanos. Me cago en todos ustedes. Me cago en todos ustedes. So I just heard maybe a blend of what I think of Venezuelans who left the country because reasons, and then voted for Biden, and then voted for Kamala. I shit on them and all their ancestors. They're a bunch of fuckers. I don't care. They're part of the problem. All of you, you love capitalism in the United States, right? But all of you are communists at heart. You are part of the problem. All of you are part of the problem. I'm tired of being politically correct about this. Son una panda roletroncos de mamagüevos. Eso es todo lo que son. Y no me voy a cansar de decir esa verga una y otra vez. Me sabe a mierda ya. Me sabe a mierda ya. Estoy hasta aquí. Estoy hasta aquí de gente que se va de Venezuela y vuelve a votar por el socialismo. El coño de tu madre. Retrasado mental. Eres mongólico. Eres mongólico. No hay otra forma de llamarte mamagüevo. No, mamagüevo y mamagüevas. Hay que ser diverso e inclusivo. Mamagüevos y mamagüevas todos. So, ok, lo de los helicópteros literalmente paseándose tranquilamente por los cielos de Caracas me tiré loco. Menos defensas que una tribu bereber. The thing about the helicopters literally strolling calmly through the skies of Caracas is driving me crazy. Fewer defenses than a Berber tribe, as if a superior civilization had arrived. Told you so. Next time, just ask Jesus. Next time, just ask Jesus. Ask me. We don't want another war with Venezuela. There will be no war, you morons. I'm telling you. This is a great, you can go to my Twitter account. I cannot play this because this is basically a montage of all the bombings of Caracas to the tune of Fortunate Son. And I have goosebumps. I am not listening to this. But I just watched this, and every time I watch this, with Fortunate Song playing in the background, and the helicopter, the choppers, and the missiles, and every explosion, That is pure bliss. That is pure bliss. That is pure bliss. You cannot enjoy this. You are not, you don't have red blood in your veins. You don't have red blood in your veins. You need to enjoy this for yourself. Urgent. Diosdado Cabello, another of the henchmen. We are desplegados. I don't know how to say that in English. We are like enforced the thing. We're calling for calm. Trust in us to go through this situation. This is my answer to you, Diosdado. If you know what this meme is, you know what is my opinion for Diosdado Cabello. Why did you leave? Why did you leave Diosdado Cabello? Why did you leave Diosdado Cabello? We're live, we're still live. We will begin shortly. Daniel, blowing up Hugo Chavez's body because fuck it, why not while we're down here? Masterful. This is cinema. This is absolute cinema. Venezuelan media report that the United States also struck the Cuartel de la Montaña complex in Caracas, a former military museum that was converted into Hugo Chavez's mausoleum after his death. And I have a very good meme here. Yeah, el muñeco es cera de Chávez en estos momentos. This is Chávez's corpse right now. Like being died again. Being killed again. There's another one. El intergaláctico después de que lo murieran una segunda vez. I'm here for it. I mean, I saw this. I couldn't breathe. I went full George Floyd. I couldn't breathe watching this. But this and this one. We have to go back because we skipped. Oh no, this is restricted meme. What do we drink? All of it. Venezuela's on Twitter right now. You know things. This is a random thing of another thing. Padrino Lopez, the Venezuelan defense minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, survived tonight's strike operation, giving his first statement since the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. This guy must be shitting his pants right now. This guy must be shitting his pants right now. Absolutely shitting his pants right now. Thank you, Danny Ocean, for this. For those of you who don't know, and I'm pretty sure that many of you don't know, the real flag of Venezuela doesn't have 8 stars. The real flag of Venezuela has only 7 stars. Repeat after me as if we are, I don't know, Dora or Blue's Clues or something. The real flag of Venezuela has 7 stars. 7, not 8. It was Hugo Chavez, rest in peace, who added at 8 stars. So, fuck you. I wipe my ass with the 8-star flag. I will say it so many times. And this is the right ensemble badge, el escudo. That is the actual badge. Danny Ocean is posting the actual symbols of Venezuela, not the ones that Chavez, modified to, because of reasons. You modify things to modify history. This is the real stuff. This is a real deal. Marco Rubio, we salute you. Back in July 27th, 2025, Maduro is not the president of Venezuela and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the Cartel de los Soles, a narco-terror organization which has taken possession of a country, and he is under indictment for pushing drugs into the United States, and he found out, finally. He found out. I don't agree. I don't usually agree with Andrew Wilson. I think I have him muted at some point. But Andrew Wilson posted this. Gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I'm still a fan of my nation killing communists. And yes, this is something I don't know. I don't care. That's the thing. If you are against humanity, and communists are literally against humanity, this is the end that you deserve. You don't deserve any other end than this. So this time I agree with Andrew Wilson, and I even gave him a heart emoji. Also, Magnetron, how is nobody shooting them down? I hate to break it to you. Nobody was going to be there to shoot anything down. Next time, just ask Jesus. Next time, just ask me. I would have told you in an instant. You just go there, send in the drones. I remember when I criticized Maria Corina Machado when she said, we don't need boots on the ground. And it's funny because there was no boots in the ground. There was only helicopter. It was all airstrike. So it's like Trump said, challenge accepted. Let's do this. All right. Snatching Maduro is the single most significant clandestine op by the U.S. military in 60 years. They have never gone in and grabbed a sitting head of a state with no preceding war or military ops. They just effing black-bagged him with impunity in his own country. Goddamn. Yeah, it was wonderful. And this, if you need to summarize what happened this morning in one tweet, Rev says Desu, Desu, this is perfection. It's just perfect. This is poetry. It was almost a haiku. Zero media leaks. Successful strikes completely level primary air base. Bomb the corpse of Hugo Chavez for fun. Capture Maduro like Batman or something. You remember Batman on The Dark Knight when they snatched this accountant out of nowhere to bring him back to justice back in Gotham? Yeah, it was perfection. It's like yes, it's watching a work of art and saying that you will never be able to witness something like this in your lifetime. It's just not possible. And big shout out to my big friend Leonard Reyes. He mostly posts in Spanish. He also posts in English sometimes. If you are on X, maybe you can follow him. He is the best in geopolitics out there that you can follow in with his English posts. So make sure you follow him if you are into geopolitics. I'm going to translate this one. It's official. Publicly, the people who maintain a political stronghold in Venezuela are the Rodriguez brothers, what I just said. In military and criminal matters, the one who maintains power and the monopoly on arms is Diosdado Cabello. So again, I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. But it's a great beginning because they know, everybody know what monopoly on arms, which arms, if you could see the choppers just having a leisure trip over Caracas. There was no, I'm going to show you images of Maduro's Iron Dome. Where's Maduro's Iron Dome? This is Maduro's Iron Dome. This is Maduro's Iron Dome in Caracas. We have exclusive footage of Maduro's Iron Dome in Caracas. For some reason, it did not work. I mean, maybe they needed some kind of maintenance or something. Or they needed something about that. They needed something about that, but this did not work to stop. To stop. How many helicopters would have been there? 10 helicopters, something like that. Something like that. It seems that, jokes aside, the strike was meant to be able to cover up for the extraction thing. So they essentially went, is the pig Chavez in pieces? He is right now. That pig is in pieces. I really hope that, yeah, this is absolute cinema. Anika Rothstein, there's something especially bizarre in seeing people who have never lived under oppression and never had to fight for a single thing their entire life now lament the courageous actions of the Trump administration. Meanwhile, exiled Venezuelans across the globe are celebrating the first step towards a hard-fought freedom. In New York, Mamdani celebrated for ushering in socialism. Good luck, New York. In Venezuela, they have bled for decades to be free of it. The peace-damaged masses can never understand what today means, but all those who fled oppression of whatever origin do. Let freedom ring. You will never understand what we have gone through. You will never understand, and if you are going to are going to here to argue, gonna block your sorry ass instantly. King Peel, oh, and Pete, sir, make sure they fuck up that dirty commie Chavez while they're down there. You got it, Mr. President. Go for it. I mean, the energy in the room right now. This is just amazing. Mike Benz Zyver. We captured the president of Venezuela. Kind of not. I already stated that Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. Edmundo González Urrutia is the president of Venezuela. So Trump essentially captured the usurper of Venezuelans government. That is the exact thing. There's just in, Chinese officials arrived in Venezuela for talks with President Nicolas Maduro. That was 12 hours ago. That was a very short trip. Goodbye. Attorney Pamela Bondi, Pam Bondi. I have criticized Pam Bondi in some of my videos, but here I am quoting her. Gonna take her word for this. Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. Nicolas Maduro has been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices against the United States. They will soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American courts. On behalf of the entire U.S. Department of Justice, well, I would like to thank President Trump for having the courage to demand accountability on behalf of the American people, and a huge thank you to our brave military who conducted the incredible and highly successful mission to capture these two alleged international narco-traffickers. Yeah, she could say alleged, but they definitely are. I can like take that from there. That yeah. Mike Lee just got off the phone with Sec Rubio. He informed me that Nicolas Maduro has been arrested by U.S. personnel to stand trial on criminal charges in the United States, and that the kinetic action we saw tonight was deployed to protect and defend those executing the arrest warrant. This action likely falls within the president's inherent authority under Article 2 of the Constitution to protect U.S. personnel from an actual of imminent attack. Thank you, Secretary Rubio, for keeping me apprised. Oh, Cam Higby, the White House account better be cooking up a sick edit. You know those memes from the White House? We are expecting absolute cinema. And I don't know if you are for the memes of let's say if you watch Joe Rogan or this meme of Joe Rogan, I'm gonna say this. It's like Trump and Joe Rogan say, the elites don't want you to know this, but the El Presidentes in the South Americas are free. You can just take them home and have one El Presidente. You can just go and take you one of the presidents on them. And I cannot play this video because I don't have my my music muting software here. But this was amazing to watch. It was, yeah, big salute to United States troops. God bless them. And this montage, if you go to my X and you watch it with sound and music, is just amazing to watch. So amazing to watch. Let me see. And this, no lies detected. Literally 80% of the third world can be conquered. The third world can be conquered in a week with less than 1,000 guys from Ohio. That's no lies detected. I'm seeing here. We're still watching the White House live stream. Hasn't started. I'm live watching. Hasn't started yet. Just wanted to refresh in terms. If you see that it starts, and I'm rambling here, make sure that you stop me from the rambling. Yeah, because as you can see, I have been posting to my Twitter account like crazy. Yes, this is just amazing. Just before we begin, I have to remind you, so many of you have reached out to me. I didn't know you had a book, Jesus. Yes, I do have a book, Body Language in 40 Days. Make sure that you check my book about body language, how to control your own body language, how to read the body language of others, and how to use everything to persuade, have magnetism, have influence over anyone, and of course, defend yourself against manipulation. Check the link in the description of this video, this live stream. So yes, what else did I post here? I posted, okay, this is important, what I'm telling you over and over again. I need everyone to understand we can't speak of any regime change in Venezuela at all as long as the Diosdado, Delcy Rodriguez, and Padrino Lopez remain. Maduro was only one part of the power structure, the figurehead. The real power was always with this henchman operating from the shadows. Again, it's a hydra. You have several heads. You have to stab it in the heart. What else? Even Crimea. Viva Venezuela, próspera y libertad. Konstantin Kisin posted an interview with Daniel DiMartino. Big shout out to Daniel. Big shout out to Daniel DiMartino. Why socialism never works. Socialism never works. I have been telling you for ages in Spanish, in English. I don't know how to say this over and over again. But no, it doesn't work. People want that to work. I don't know why they keep doing that. But well, this is the thing. We arrive at the end here. I'm going to read your super chats now and go for your super stickers. Let me just in case check my mentions on X. Make sure everything is all right. Let me see. Let me see. I'm checking my mention. Let me show the chat. Maybe I can show the chat. The chat has been quite civil. Thank you for that. Not many rotten apples. You see my mentions. I'm checking my mentions on X. The live stream, the actual live stream from the White House has actually started, but it just says we will begin shortly. I'm seeing it right here. So as soon as it starts, I will change. There is a photo of Maduro being escorted. I'm pretty sure that photo is fake. But again, we have confirmation that the guy is under custody. Again, of course, my mentions are not working properly. Okay, now have been refreshed. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Let me see. I'm gonna put my mentions in here because why not? Let's see if I can refresh my mentions. All right, I can refresh my mentions here. Say, I love this one. Shout out to Lore Business, Venezuelan diaspora right now. Oh yes. Oh yeah. There's Trump. Yeah, the American eagle, the bald eagle. Thanks, Uncle Sam. Thanks, Uncle Sam. And what do you think about this, Chavez? Chavez is toast. Chavez is really toast. Let me see. Bless Murica. We needed. Freedom intensifies. We get mostly positive comments. It's so great to see. Let me see your comments in here. See your comments in here and highlight your. As some of my friends are in my direct messages right now, cautious optimism. But again, only by the way that this was carried out, only the way that this was carried out, this was beyond a humiliation for any sort of military power on Venezuela, which is something that does not exist. So whoever wants to be in charge on Venezuela next, if it could be Delcy Rodriguez, technically the VP of Venezuela, she knows what's coming. She knows that nobody's going to help her. Nobody's going to defend her. There's no military. They only needed enough firepower to fight unarmed civilians. I have explained that in many videos and live streams before. The only firepower Maduro and the military needed was to fight civilians, and they had three rings. He had the National Guard, they got the military, and they had the paramilitary, the colectivos, who could essentially, the collectivos could essentially kill people. So there were these gangs, so there was no need to maintain or upgrade or do anything for the military or have any kind of sort of training or prepare for anything. They never saw this coming. They never thought that Russia and China were going to leave them on their own. And I told you that as well. Russia and China. Venezuela is not that important for Russia and China anymore. It's not the same as 10 years ago. It's never the same. So that's what we are going through. Let me see your super chats. Jane Sullivan, thank you for your super chat. Why isn't highlighting? All right. Jane Sullivan, thanks for your super chat. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it, really, Jane. You can write as well, and I will try to keep an eye on what you write. American Rebel 27, thank you for your super chat. Thank you, Jesus Enrique Rosas. Pleasure is mine. Today, pleasure is completely mine. We are living the timest of times. This is unprecedented. Unprecedented. This is also true. Z Core Alpha 2462. Venezuela's oil is very bad quality. We could have the largest reserves of oil in the world, and we do have the largest oil reserves in the world, but our oil is too heavy. It's very bad quality. The only way to use it is to mix it with lighter oil or slimmer oil. I don't know how to say that. Oil is bad quality, takes a long time to refine. Fresh won't get out till 2031. Refining is rust and need to be rebuilt. Yeah, it's something complicated. It can be done. We have the oil, but every single thing. I mean, I remember when the oil was at what, $120 per barrel, and Venezuelans did not see any of that. And for so many people saying, oh, it's the United States sanctions. You know how many things did Chavez do with the they could still do anything that they wanted. They could still steal anything that they wanted. And they did steal anything that they wanted. Venezuelans, we did not see anything about that. So when some, I don't know, non-Venezuelan motherfucker comes to me and tells me, can't you see it's because of the oil? We haven't seen any benefit from the oil in decades ourselves, with Chavez, with Maduro there. So it's pretty much the same. It's like not having any access to the riches in our soil. We don't have it. They have stolen everything. They have destroyed the El Arco Minero, that is near the Orinoco River. I don't know what is the area, where just to mine for coltan. The coltan is the name, right? Has been a natural disaster. They don't care about that. They have literally decimated. And of course, all these Greta Thunbergs of the world don't care about that because it's not in their agenda. All of those are hypocrites. All of those are just hypocrites as well. Patricia Luna, 3016. Hurrah, Jesus. So happy for all of us. Yes, yeah, we are so happy. I can't tell you how happy and how just it's confusing. It's exhilarating. It's so many stuff at the same time. I don't know how to process, how to describe this. J.E. May, one of our trusty mods. Congratulations, Jesus, to you and all Venezuelans. Much blessings for a free and prosperous future for Venezuela. Thank you, J.E., and thank you for everyone who has me ha soportado, has withstood. I don't know how to say that. Has to listen to me talking about Venezuela over and over again. I know sometimes maybe you say, oh, we have enough problems in our countries. I can understand that. But I needed to address why was this happening. This could not be, they couldn't afford to happen this. Lizzie, Jesus, disculpe la pregunta. Apologies for the question. But what's going to happen with the oil of our country? I hope that it stays in Venezuela's hands. I have no issue. I said that already. The United States, if it was up to me, if I was the president of Venezuela right now, that I'm not, if I was up to me, I would give the United States 50% of everything that you would like to take from our soil. You like the oil, 50% is yours. You want the coltan, 50% is yours. Every single, and everything. You want crazy hot Latinas, 50% can be yours as well. It's just that everything that you want. Don't deport them, by the way. That's not going to be that's not going to be end up good for you. And if you can, one, remove Maduro from the equation, which is, okay, that's the first step. And second, very important, guarantee the safety of the legitimate government. That is important. And that is the second part of this. The first part is getting Maduro out of the equation. Part one is accomplished. Second one is guaranteeing the safety of the legitimate government. The legitimate government is going to be Edmundo González Urrutia, the legitimate president of Venezuela, and Maria Corina Machado, who will be most likely a vice president. And you will not be able, that nobody could guarantee that. We cannot guarantee that on our own, because we don't have weapons, we don't have guns, we don't have a military. Everything is infiltrated. We have all these factions, Diosdado, the Rodriguez brothers, everything, that they will want a slice of the pie, and they also have to be taken out of the equation. Like the same Maduro was taken out of the equation, all these people have to be taken out of the equation for a legitimate government to be safe and be able to rebuild Venezuela. It's going to be a very, very tough first year. But if the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, Catire Bello, if you can guarantee, you already did the first part, okay? You took Maduro out of the question. If you can guarantee the safety of the legitimate government of Venezuela, take half. If it was up to me, take half of everything that we have in our soil for 20 years. 20 years. Go wild. Go wild. Let's go half and half. It's up to me that I would do it. I would absolutely do it. SSJB, thank you as well, SSJB. You know my struggle. You know the struggle of Venezuelans. You have been there, and thank you. Thank you for, yes, much love and bliss, peace and hope. Never, never, never run out of hope. Never run out of hope. Lizzie B, entonces, ¿por qué China fue a Venezuela? Why did China go to Venezuela? They need to. We still don't know what was China or who was China talking with in Venezuela, but I'm pretty sure that they found out this might not be the scenario they were waiting for, and well, this is where we are. This is where we are. You see my mentions just in case. Oh my God! So we're still waiting. I can't can't keep up with all my mentions. Let me see all this just in case. The White House. Things have. Oh my God! Oh my God! My absolute cinema post went viral. It's what is happening? What is happening? I went viral on X. I noticed a lot of replies from people. What is this? Look at what? Would you look at that? I posted. I told you that I had posted that montage of all the bombings, the choppers, the everything, to the tune of "Fortunate Son" on my X account, and it's close to 1 million views right now, 300 comments. Okay, you can just do things. I cannot play that because YouTube is gonna instantly flag this because of maybe we can play just the beginning. We can play 2 seconds of it. We can play 2 seconds of it, right? 2 seconds is gonna be all right. Okay, let's pause this. Okay. Oh my, you know the rest. You know the rest. You know the rest. I had reactions to this. I cannot. That is for restricted. That is X-rated content for this. But no, this is absolutely magnificent. I'm gonna lower the volume to 0. Make sure I don't trigger anything here on YouTube. Maybe I already did. But no. This has been absolutely amazing. There's no way to describe this. No way to describe this. Okay, we're about to begin. Okay. Oh, wait. Katire. Okay.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, it's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure. and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately, New York. And then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. and we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there. When they need us, we'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst, they say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari, what happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines, and the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Donroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power, and we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation. This morning, it's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's a fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the President said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve, the most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country, deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people, deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us, and deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our chairman, Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists, and we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose: to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel so, as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings, but when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the President ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49, and there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component is, was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit but remained flyable, and as the President said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up, and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board, and both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Iwo Jima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong. Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here today. There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them and support them. As we stand here this morning, our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness, prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the region. This operation is a testament to the dedication and unwavering commitment to justice and our resolve to hold accountable those who threaten peace and stability. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women who executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when he tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba, Mr. President?
Please. Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. They stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
Yes, it's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Would run Venezuela?
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be...
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And, yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We called members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, This was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Plus, if I could add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. We had a lot of ships out there. They sort of knew we were coming. We went through. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
People to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know what a safe place is, all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it. Go ahead, finish.
Going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me.
that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So, with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and drugs?
In terms of China and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying, Mr. President, are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that,
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
They're going
troops
to be a
to provide?
team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back, yeah.
The country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're very
last
protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
And are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro. This is well known. Their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. They basically, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba that tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
The answer is yes. Yes. No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President. Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything. We will. Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what that was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Going to send in U.S. military.
Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that
Well,
country?
no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in
It's
which
about
case I'll
Putin.
go one word. It's about who?
It's about Putin, if you want.
About Putin. Well, that's
Okay.
always nice
You had
to
a
talk
phone-
about Putin.
You had a phone call with him
Yeah.
on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people. I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours, and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace, so I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month, 30,000, it was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2%, now they pay 5%. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25,000, 30,000 human beings that come from two places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, that was intense. Intense is an understatement. Sorry if I spoke so loud in regards to the to the level of volume of this. But this is insane. So many things to unpack here. Let's talk about this, because I need to address the fact that Trump literally said, I'm gonna pump up some examples here, because here next we can see here directly. Trump and Venezuela, we're going to run the country. We're here. What did I do? Okay. Just in case, I'm going to play this clip. Where am I? Trump and Venezuela. Oh.
Such time as we're going to run the country until such time.
We're going to run the country. We're going to run the country. Okay? It's very clear. As I told you in my rant before the live stream, that we needed... What's happening here? Another? Oh, no, this is a launch. There's another thing. Another thing happening. Okay. We need guarantees. We need guarantees of, how the legitimate government is going to go forward. And Trump just said that. We're going to run the country until this gets sorted out.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Well, there you have it. This is very important, because that is the second part that I told you that I was willing to, give America, because it's not Trump, America, for 20 years, 50% of everything that is in Venezuela's soil. There you have it. You have to remove Maduro out of the equation. And he just confirmed that the United States is going to remain in charge of everything in Venezuela to secure this transition. Not even to, how to say this, to secure this, the safety of the legitimate government, which obviously is this guy. Maybe they can, I certainly hope that this goes well, because we have a lot of alacranes. Venezuelans know what I'm talking about. Maybe that is a topic for another video. This has been quite intense. I was mentioning that I wanted you to remind me to comment how Trump had spoken about the entire operation. I don't think that he is lying about the scope of the operation. They wanted the reason that he was being very specific about 150 aircraft and how it had to be so perfect. It was to be surgical, to make sure that there were no casualties on any side. But I don't think there was going to be any casualties on the United States side. But at the same time, I can understand that he wanted to make it seem that this was dangerous operation. I don't think it was dangerous for the United States aircraft at all. But it's a way of Trump saying, you know what, I salute you for this operation that was so flawlessly carried out, which is great. There were like minimal, I cannot imagine. There's actually not an actual government right now. I don't know what they're going to do. They know that they have, he already said, Delcy Rodriguez, I already mentioned Delcy Rodriguez, one of the Rodriguez brothers, Jorge and Delcy Rodriguez. She is like this VP, but Delcy, she is already aware who is going to, like, let's say, set the rules until this gets sorted out. And yes, this, I'm looking at all the outrage. There's all these analysts everywhere that the United States is for our oil, that international law was just thrown away. And I want to ask all those armchair analysts, where were you when our own oil was being stolen by our government, by Hugo Chavez, by Nicolas Maduro, by all these thugs? Where were you when they were massacring us on the streets? Where were you when they took everything from us? Where were you when 9 million Venezuelans had to go everywhere else because life was unsustainable in the country? Where were you when all that? You were silent, right? Now shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Give me a break. You shut the fuck up because you don't have any sort of right to speak. Oh, the oil, this is about the oil and all such and such and such. You know nothing, Jon Snow. That is the reality. They know nothing about this. So this is what is going to happen. This is way more than I bargained for. This is a lot to process. There's a lot of to process here. I don't know what else to tell you besides that it has been a lovely live stream. I really appreciate all your comments. There has been amazing comments. I was trolling a bit. I was saying a couple of things during the. There's this question. Any idea what's next for Venezuela? I think that Flower Girl, you already have your answer to that. Trump already said that the United States is going to remain in control to secure a peaceful transition, because otherwise it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess otherwise. Ed Franks 101. I have many Venezuelan friends here in Miami who haven't been able to visit family for many years because of the situation here. This is a major win. Thank you, Ed, for your super chat. Yes, it's like some of you are asking me, when are you coming back to Venezuela? Well, I need some sort of, guarantee that I enter the country and they're not going to literally disappear me. I mean, they disappear people. And when I tell you disappear, that's like you never know about them again. You don't know if they are dead or alive. You don't know if they are being held captive and anywhere. You don't know anything about them. You literally disappear. That's a real risk that yours truly can. After all that I've said about the Venezuelan government, after all that I said about Hugo Chavez back in the day, Nicolas Maduro, Diosdado Cabello, all of them are scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. And now we have a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, this has only just begun. Only begun. I don't know. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of things that I want to say, but this has been a great live. And I said a lot before that live stream from Trump. So let's, I'm just going to, just in case, I'm going to check my timeline, making sure that I'm not missing anything. And, by the way, I wanted to show you again. I showed you that there's, when I was, we were looking at the other thing. the live stream, but this is a real picture of Maduro inside the USS Iwo Jima, ready to bring him to New York. Scott Jennings, kind of wild just how dumb and dishonest was Biden. Joe Biden, Trump talks tough on Venezuela but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolas Maduro. What are you talking about? Go home, old man. This is the same question. What would have happened? What would have happened if Kamala Harris had won? Yes, it would have been Venezuela on steroids for the United States. Venezuela on steroids for the United States. So, let's see. All right, we are wrapping up. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Has been a great live stream with you. I might make a video. This is, I started yesterday making new videos for my Royal Rogue channel and my Power Pundit channel as well. I want to bring you the best of the best videos. This was out of the blue. I had to make this live stream, and we had to share this moment. And I can't help but think that this is the best way to spend this historic moment for me, for my country, and for the Western Hemisphere, and for what is good in the world. And I want to thank you, President Trump, for this. I really, from the bottom of my heart, with all my soul, thank you for this. It's the first step for real freedom in Venezuela. We are thankful for it, and we will assist you in whatever it takes to make Venezuela great again. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Until we meet on another video or another live, remember the most important words. Much love and bliss. Take care. Be safe. I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.